Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? It's wee Paddy from across the shuck, and you're very welcome back to the channel. And if you're just new and you like this, give us a wee like before you leave. And 50% of you are not subscribed. So if you think you would like to watch more videos like this, and I have a collection of about 2,000 videos, please subscribe. I'd love to have you as part of the crew. So what have I got today for you? I've got the Rough Rider Reserve Patriot. Now, this is an older knife, and I make no apologies for that because most of my knives are second-hand knives. And to be second-hand, they have to be older. So this knife came to me by way of Justin, my wee mate. And he was sorting out his knives that he was going to use, knives he was sort of putting to the side and wasn't sort of showing in his collection at home. And he was showing me the knives he got, and I said, "Oh, I'd love that. That just looks lovely." I'd envied it. Not envied, that's a wrong word. You know, when he first got this, I had a couple of other Rough Rider Reserves, the large big one with the one hand open and that. So it wasn't something I was going to spend to have in the collection because I had this the same cover material, I had the jean pattern, and I loved it. I haven't got it anymore now, but because it wasn't a user, so I moved it on to get something else. And he brought it over to me on Thursday night for the podcast, and I am absolutely smitten with it. Now, I think the only way you're ever going to get one of these is by buying it second hand. But there's the joy of this. Put a little list down. I have a mental list of wee knives that I see and that I would like to have in my collection. I don't actually write them down. I mean, I think if I did that, I would have pages and pages of knives. But this has always been one, every time I've seen one, and you don't see them much now. People don't tend to show them. And I don't know why, because once I got this in hand and I've played with it sort of for the last day, I am in love with this knife. Now, it has some things that, yeah, it could be improved on. Absolutely. And I'm doing this. Hopefully, maybe Andy will watch it, because I think Andy designed this for Rough Rider. And I would say it would make an absolutely amazing Rosecraft to have something like this. Just something like it. Not the same, but like it. That would really, because there's one improvement I would love to be made on it. And we'll talk to that as we go through the knife. This is a work knife. Completely. And the knives that I'm going to show you today will be work knives. Because I love knives that I can just pick up and use for whatever I want. Listen to, oh, that is beautiful. This is, it's a big knife, but it's not a huge knife. I've lost my little ruler. Where's my little ruler gone? Do you know, I've one over here. Hang on a wee second. Oh, I have a large one. I don't know where my wee brass ruler has gone. My wee brass ruler has disappeared. So, let's just see what the handle close length. This is 4 inches dead on. So it's not huge. The blade is 3-inch cutting edge. So there we go. Make with that as you will. I'm in the UK. You just have to make your own decisions. It is a stunning big blade. And it's not a light knife. There's a good weight to it. Spine thickness is good. I would maybe like to see it a slight bit thinner for more EDC heavy use, if that makes any sense. But I know I'd quite happily do with the same blade steel. But look at that blade. I mean, it really is a bellied ram's foot. It's thinner here, thicker here, but you have this little bit of belly. And that little bit of belly is so good because you can get down on something. You're not having to use the tip, to get down. You can actually get this down, cut your sandwiches or whatever. I was using it last night to spread my peanut butter on the sandwich and cut it. But I mean, it's just one of them knives that you want to use when it's in your pocket. And it is an absolute gem. Don't know why we're not seeing, I don't see many videos in this anymore. And sometimes I think that's a shame because we're always seeing videos of new knives and the latest and greatest thing. But my collection's not made up of them. My collection's made up mostly of older knives, in varying ages, from a year to, the 100-year-old knives. So I do like to see old patterns. Don't throw them away. They're not throwaways. These are tools that you can use for the rest of your life. But this, honestly, and it's got a slight sway back to it, but it is very slight because I'm not a great lover of sway backs. But in hand, because of this big round butt it has here, it really has that sort of pear-shaped, nearly a large Barlow shape to it. It is so comfortable in hand. You've got plenty of meat in here, and it is beautiful. Brass liners in it. Absolutely. I mean, this is a fantastic knife. In anybody's book, I don't know, it cost about 60 quid probably when it came out. Maybe even a bit less. I can't remember how long ago it was. But it's lovely. I could have done without that, but that's not going to bother me in the slightest either. It's just part of what the modern world sort of uses, and I do it as well, do you know what I mean? But it's just the blade shape, just absolutely stunning. I put a nice wee fresh edge on this last night, and it's just a really sharp edge, but it's a little bit thick behind the edge. Now, I don't mean it's really thick. I would love a future version be a full flat ground where you can get that little bit thinner to give it that little bit more slices, because it's got a D2 blade, so it can take it. You know, it really can take it for a knife this size. I just think that full flat, or if you wanted to do a wee hollow, oh my gosh, would that be sexy? Oh, there's a thought out loud that really gives me the fizz. Lovely, have that sabre but with a hollow. Oh man, that would be gorgeous. Andy, please be listening. And the jean, wherever they got the jean micarta from, it is stunning. Absolutely stunning. And I can see that with a nice, you know, a nice skull on that, Andy. I really could see a nice skull on that jean, and the silver would just go amazing. And I could, you know, the brass liners could go and have it all steel. It would just be beautiful. Anyhow, getting carried away. I love it, right? And I'm going to use it. This is going to be a user. And I thought, well, here's the thing. This can do anything in my day. Absolutely anything. I wouldn't need anything else as a main carry. And I'd feel very comfortable that I'm going to have a knife that's going to last me all day. And I thought, well, look, we'll have this nice. What other knives do I have that I reach for when I want to do not necessarily hard work, cut a steak, do whatever, but yes, I can turn to hard work. I can take it down to the bin yard and do all my boxes or whatever I'm going to do down there. And there's certain knives that I pick to do it. Now, there's a couple I'm going to show you that are sort of newish to my collection and I haven't really used yet. For one thing or another, it didn't really gel with me. I was put off, but having this, I've decided that, you know, use my own words, and I'm going to start using this too. The first one is the Bear and Son. Now, there was a whole calamity about these, and I left it a bit later before I got mine. But this is a truly well-made knife, except for one thing, and it's the one thing that sort of put me off. It is, oh, can you hear that? It's just loose there, and I don't know. I don't know what they done to make that, but it's a lovely opening, nice lock. Not particularly, maybe about a 6, if it is a 6 even, maybe a 5.5. But look at that beautiful blade. How lovely is that? It's got a little bit of a hollow grind in it. It's just a great big one. Again, about that 4 inches. Not as thick in the handle, so, you know, a longer knife, it probably could have done with a bit more thickness. But it is a lovely blade for use. This is a lovely using knife. That little knocking really does sort of put me off. It was the one thing that put me off it. So there's that Bear and Son. Absolutely beautiful. And I think these are still available. I think Moonraker still has some of them. I'm not sure, but they'll be about there somewhere. But lovely knife, I have to say. Really nice. The next one as a work knife is this. And this is my Barlow, and I think this is about 3 3/4 maybe long. Just have a look, maybe. Yeah, it's about 3 5/8. So it's a good size, you know, a good size working Barlow, or not Barlow, working knife. It's a single blade. It has the easy opening, which I really do appreciate. It's got 2 blades now, and the reason I like the 2 blades is this is a substantial spear point, but you got that lovely bit of belly. It'll drop, you have a good point. It's a real work knife. Now, This is one of my collectible pieces. This is an older marbles knife. I think it was like a tradition series or something they came out with. It is immaculate. It's like brand new in box, and I haven't used it for any rough work. I have used it and carried it very lately, but I love having this. And this is like the bird print, whatever you call it. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely love it. It's one that's in my collection that I would class a work knife, but I don't really use it as a work knife. So that's it. The rest I'm going to show you are knives that I actually really use. So I have my little collector pieces. I have ones that I bought for the channel. Here's one that I really use. And this is my GEC number 71. Now everybody knows a 71. Good pull on this one. Great lockup. Super fat handle for a work knife that gives you plenty of place to put your hand. I just love this. I do use this. This has been cleaned off. I bought this second hand. I cleaned it off. So it's just starting to get patina again on it now. I don't use it for steak knives, but I have used it the odd time to cut something that was hot. And it's kind of going. Lovely edge on it. We'll cut the finger off you. But a super, just all-round work knife. If you can find one, absolutely. Once you get one, it's the Sodbuster for me that just... it nearly eclipses them all. It's not better than them all, but to me it's just so functional. It's not meant to be a pretty knife. It's just really well made by GEC. All stainless. Absolutely love this knife. It is. I don't know how many of these I've had because I keep having them, and then I trade them for something else because they're very easy to trade. And it was one that I've used and I keep buying another. As soon as I get rid of it, I want it again because, even if I'm not using it much, I just think it's the perfect example of a farmer's knife. This is what you want for, working on a building site, working on your own house out the back garden. This is the knife that I would use in the back garden. But for everyday EDC use, and again, this is going to fall very much into the category and going to be used for that. I've got some beauties for you. I got my first custom from Ashley Harrison. This was it. This is a fantastic sheepsfoot with a superb lockup, an easy open, which just fits my third finger absolutely beautifully in there. You can see that this is a used knife. This is used for everything in it. Not actually, it's got the marks on it there, but that's not from steak, which a lot of them you would have this top half of it, be steak. It's cut something hard or acidic. That's the other way you're going to get patina. And this would probably be more acidic because I've used it for peeling apples, things like that. But it's a great EDC knife. Nice spine on it. Comes down to a reasonably thin edge. Just a fantastic work knife from Ashley. I love the bone, and I love the way these red hues, they weren't there when it started, but it's really starting to have its own patina. That's, it was more, now you can see the red starting to come up there slowly and maybe down the sides here. I don't know where it's coming from. Maybe a bit of, I don't know. Iron usually turns things red, but this is bone, so no idea. But I love this knife. It was my first custom. This will never go anywhere. It's a cam tang. It's beautifully made by Ashley. I adore this knife. As if you know my channel, that's why. Great work knife. Absolutely great work knife. And when I say work, I mean EDC work, not anything else. But that you could take anywhere and it will work. The second one is another Ashley. And this was another custom that I asked them to make me. A big Spay. I love a Spay blade, but I like a fat Spay blade. And does that not just look immense? It is gorgeous. One of my most used knives of Ashley. I just love the Spay blade. At the moment, it was in my front room, and I'd changed, and I was using this as my steak knife, which it does admirably, I must admit. But I'm going to give that a bash and sort of see what it's like for the steak. It's D2. This is 01 tool steel. The 01 tool steel, I found out of all the knives so far that I've used for steak, and most of it has just been 1095, D2, things like that. This one seems to not dull as quickly as all the others. Now, it could be with Ashley's heat treatment. The 01's a really good wear resistant steel for what it is. but it doesn't dull anywhere near as fast as the other knives that I've used, including the D2 ones. But I just adore this knife. I adore it. It's actually starting to get some blues, and which it never really had. It just went black a couple of times. I've cleaned this a couple of times and then bring it back again. Another one of them things I do and then regret it straight afterwards. But hey, that's my life. But the appears to resistance of my, and this is a high-end knife for me, and this is one I use constantly. This is in my pocket a couple of days a week, at least. I just adore it. And it's this baby. It's a Dean Robertson. It's the Dino pattern with some of the chunkiest, most gorgeous, luscious, reddy orange and a stag as a crest, which is just beautiful. Look at this. I'm loving my new lighting. My new lighting is so good. I'm not having to in or out with the camera. I just move it up and it's able to pick it up. I'm getting the best out of this phone camera. Look at that. In ivory. Just beautiful. It's only got about a 5.5, 6 pull again. But that Dino pattern, I love this blade. And again, very similar to this, which is why I brought this out. Similar in a lot of ways. You've got a nice fat end on it here. You have a point. You have a better point on this one, I think. But you have that belly, the same as the belly you have on here. So they're very similar. But in use, it has that nice depth to it. A good width to it. Not over thick. But because of the depth, it just gives you such a beautiful, comfortable grip. It's lighter than that. But, oh my goodness. And I know it's a custom knife. But I just have to use it. I bought it to be a user. It was in great condition when I bought it, but I bought it to be a user. And it's got starting to get scratches and things. When you can see there, there's scratches. But it's been used for anything and everything. And that's a real joy that I'm finding is, you know, even though it is one of the more expensive one I have, it's not one that I could replace easy if I lost it. But as a user and a carrier, I just adore it. I adore it. Absolutely. So, it set me off. Do you know what I'm like? I just get something in my head and then out come the knives and I end up with a table full. Sorry I can't do just one. But this Rough Rider Patriot, I'm going to put it through its paces and I'm going to eat steaks with it and do that, you know, meat chops and just see how it reacts and how the D2 lasts. I sharpened it last night. It was not the easiest to sharpen. There's nothing hard to sharpen. There's things that just take a bit longer. But I found it quite difficult to get my my edge to move over easily. And then to deburr it was really quite a strain and deburring it. But I've not noticed that before with Rough Riders. Maybe it was just that sort of initial, you know, and sometimes some knives take a while to get their edge to come in from being burnt. But it's like a little razor now and really looking forward. But that took a wee bit of extra time to get it to that. But I'm glad it got there and I shall use this and I'll probably get back to you at some stage and let you know what I think of it. But so far, amazing. Thank you, Justin, so much. I am absolutely loving this knife. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful Saturday and the rest of your weekend. Button down if you're going to be in the path of the gales that's coming. It's going to hit us tonight, somewhere around midnight-ish, I think. But there you go. Take care. I'm away. Cup of tea time. Bye-bye now.